The rain on the battlefield was black. Ash and dust mixed with the downpour, coating everything in a heavy, choking mud. Human Corporal Daniel Reeves pushed himself forward through the wreckage of burning machines and shattered metal walls. The air was filled with the sound of distant explosions and the strange, high-pitched cries of alien weapons. His legs ached, but he could not stop. Not here, not now. Around him, the world was falling apart. The enemy had numbers, speed, and strange living weapons that moved like shadows. Humanity's allies had fallen back hours ago. Daniel's unit had been ordered to hold the outer perimeter, but they were gone now. He didn't know if they were dead or just smart enough to run. Something roared in the distance, a sound so deep it shook the ground under his boots. Daniel froze. Through the smoke, he saw it. A war beast taller than a building, its hide covered in black metal plating, its mouth glowing with molten fire. It was hunting survivors. And it had seen him. Daniel ran. He didn't think, didn't plan, his body simply moved. The ground split behind him as the beast's claws slammed down, sending a shockwave through the mud. He stumbled, falling hard. Pain shot up his side. His weapon skidded away into the darkness. He reached for it, but before his fingers could. Close, the shadow of the beast swallowed him. The monster's breath was like fire. Daniel could feel it through his armor. He braced for the strike, his mind empty except for the thought, this is it. Then something else moved. A massive figure stepped between him and the beast. Tall, impossibly tall. 9 feet of sleek, armored form with deep violet skin and hair that streamed like molten amethyst in the firelight. Her armor was not human. It was a living thing, grown into her form. Black and silver patterns flowing over her body like the night sky. The beast struck. She caught its claws with her bare hands. The ground shuddered again, but she did not move. Her glowing eyes locked onto the creature, and her voice, deep, steady, and filled with command, echoed through the air in a language Daniel could not understand. The war beast hesitated. Then, slowly it backed away, growling low before turning and vanishing into the smoke. Daniel lay on the ground, staring at her. He was shaking, his breathing uneven. He didn't know if she was friend or foe. She knelt beside him, her enormous frame casting a shadow over him. With surprising gentleness, she slipped her arms under his body and lifted him as if he weighed nothing. Her voice was softer now, almost a whisper. You will not die here. Daniel wanted to speak, to ask her who she was, why she was here, but his throat was dry and his head swam. He could feel his strength fading. She carried him through the ruins, each of her steps steady and deliberate. The battlefield around them was chaos, streaks of energy fire, collapsing towers, alien screams. Yet wherever she walked, nothing dared approach. He noticed now that she wore an insignia across her chest plate, a silver crest shaped like a rising star. He had seen it in briefings. It was the mark of the Queen of the Caliph Dominion, a ruler of one of the most feared alien empires in the galaxy. Why would she be here? Why save him? They passed the remains of human soldiers. She didn't flinch, didn't slow. Her focus stayed entirely on him. Once, a blast struck nearby, throwing shards of metal into the air. She turned her back to shield him, the fragments striking her armor and falling harmlessly away. Her eyes met his again, and for a brief moment, he felt something strange. Not fear, not even gratitude. Something deeper, the sense that she had already claimed him, that from this moment on, his fate was tied to hers. Finally, the sounds of battle faded. She carried him into the mouth of a massive transport ship, its interior glowing with soft blue light. The air here was clean, warm. Alien guards stood at attention, their weapons lowered. They looked at him with unreadable expressions, but none questioned the Queen. She laid him on a long, curved bed of some strange living material that shifted under his weight, adjusting to support him. Her hand lingered at his shoulder for a moment longer than necessary. "You are safe now," she said. Daniel closed his eyes, but his mind was racing. Safe with the most powerful alien queen in the galaxy. A queen who had just risked herself to carry him from the battlefield. And deep down, in a place he didn't yet understand, he knew this was only the beginning. Daniel woke to a low hum that seemed to come from everywhere. The ceiling above him wasn't metal like a human ship's. It looked alive. A smooth organic surface that shifted slowly, almost breathing. He tried to sit up, but a sharp pain in his ribs forced him back down. A shadow fell across him. She was there. The alien queen stood beside his bed, her towering frame outlined by the soft blue light of the chamber. Without her armor's full battle form, she wore a fitted suit of black and silver, elegant but clearly protective. Her hair flowed down in smooth violet waves, and her eyes studied him with quiet intensity. "You should not move yet," she said, her voice calm but carrying an edge of command. Daniel hesitated, unsure whether to thank her or demand answers. "Why? Why did you save me?" His voice was hoarse, his throat still raw from smoke and dust. Her expression didn't change. "Because you are mine now." The words hit him like a strike to the chest. "Yours?" She nodded once, as if stating a fact. "I found you broken. On the ground of a battle you could not win. In my people's law, that means you are under my protection. No one may harm you without facing me." Daniel stared at her. This wasn't how humans worked. Protection from someone like her sounded more like being claimed, like belonging to her. Before he could speak again, the door to the chamber slid open with a hiss. 3 alien guards entered, each bowing their heads to her before casting wary glances at him. One stepped forward and spoke in their language, sharp and clipped. The queen's eyes narrowed. "They demand you be turned over," she translated for him. "They believe you are an enemy soldier, and they are correct." Daniel's pulse quickened. "So you're going to hand me over?" Her gaze sharpened. "No." She took a step closer to him, her height casting a shadow over his entire bed. "They will not touch you, not while I draw breath." The guard began to protest in their language. The queen turned, and her voice dropped into a dangerous growl. The alien's skin paled, and without another word, they retreated, the door sealing behind them. Daniel exhaled slowly. "You're risking a lot for someone you don't even know." Her eyes softened, but only slightly. "I know enough. You fought until your body could fight no more. You faced the beast without surrender. You are worth saving." The hum of the ship deepened, and the floor under them trembled slightly. She glanced toward the ceiling, listening. "We are leaving orbit. The battle is finished, for now." Daniel shifted, trying to ignore the pain. "Where are you taking me?" Her lips curved in a faint smile. "Somewhere safe. Somewhere they will not dare follow." He wanted to believe her, but the unease in his chest didn't fade. Safe was a word that had lost meaning since the war began. As if sensing his doubt, she leaned closer, her voice dropping to something almost like a whisper. "Daniel Reeves, you do not yet understand. You are no longer just a soldier to me. You are the most precious thing in this galaxy." For a moment, he forgot to breathe. Her gaze was unwavering, and in it, he saw no mockery, no manipulation. Only a strange, fierce truth. But outside this chamber, he could still hear faint, distant echoes of voices. Not all aboard this ship agreed with her decision. And somewhere out there, the war was still raging. Daniel realized something then. Being under the protection of the most powerful alien queen in the galaxy might be the safest and most dangerous place he could possibly be. Daniel didn't sleep much that night. The bed beneath him shifted and adapted whenever he moved, but his mind wouldn't rest. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw flashes of the battlefield, the glow of the war beast's mouth, and then her, the towering figure who had stood between him and certain death. In the quiet hours, the hum of the ship changed. It was no longer the steady, soothing vibration from before. This was sharper, more deliberate. A shift in the air told him they were accelerating. He sat up slowly, wincing at the pull in his ribs. The door to his chamber slid open without warning, and she stepped in. The Queen. She carried something in her hands, a tray with food, and a flask that gave off a faint warmth. She set it down beside him, her movements precise and unhurried. "Eat," she said simply. Daniel looked at the strange glowing meal. "You serve your own prisoners now." Her gaze held steady. "You are not my prisoner. You are my responsibility." The words made something tighten in his chest. He picked up the flask, the liquid inside tasting faintly of herbs and heat. It spread warmth through his body almost instantly. "Where are we going?" he asked again. "Far from your war, and mine." She sat across from him, folding her long legs with effortless grace. "There is a place where even my enemies dare not tread. It is where you will heal." Daniel hesitated. "Why? You could have left me. You could have taken someone more important." Her eyes narrowed, as though the question itself annoyed her. Importance is not measured by rank or power. It is measured by choice. "And I chose you." Before Daniel could reply, the ship shuddered. Violently. A low alarm began to pulse, casting the room in dim red light. The Queen rose instantly, her eyes flashing. She tapped the side of her armor, and a translucent panel appeared in the air, displaying alien symbols and a rotating map of the ship. Daniel couldn't read it, but he didn't have to. The blips closing in were obvious. "Pursuers," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was a dangerous edge to it now. "Yours or mine?" Daniel asked. "Both," she answered. She turned toward him, towering over his seated form. "You will stay here. No matter what you hear, you will not open this door." Daniel clenched his jaw. "And if they get past you?" Her expression softened just enough for a ghost of a smile. "They won't." With that, she was gone, the door sealing shut behind her. The hum of the ship grew louder, joined by the distant sound of weapons fire. Daniel's heartbeat matched the rhythm of the alarms. Every few seconds the floor trembled. He tried to listen for her voice, but all he heard were muffled shouts in the alien tongue and the sharp crack of impacts against the hull. Then something else, footsteps. Heavy ones. Not hers. The door's outer panel flickered, and a hiss of steam filled the air. Someone was trying to force it open. Daniel's breath quickened. He searched the room for anything that could be used as a weapon, but there was nothing. But the bed and the tray of food. The panel sparked. The seal broke. The door slid open, and a figure stepped through. It wasn't the Queen. The figure that entered was massive, but not like her. This alien had jagged armor of black steel, its edges sharp enough to tear skin on sight. Its eyes glowed a harsh, unnatural red, and its breathing came through a mask that hissed with every exhale. It carried a long hooked weapon that pulsed faintly, as though alive. Daniel froze. He had no armor, no weapon, nothing but his bare hands and the lingering ache in his ribs. The intruder stepped forward, the weapon lowering toward him. Its voice was deep and guttural, and though Daniel didn't understand the words, the meaning was clear: "Come quietly, or die." Daniel didn't move. His mind raced. If the Queen returned to find him gone, she might think he had gone willingly. If he resisted, this thing might kill him before she arrived. The alien reached out, its clawed hand grabbing his arm. Pain shot up to his shoulder. And then the air changed. The intruder stiffened. Daniel saw it too, the way the light in the room dimmed, as though something was blocking it from beyond the doorway. She was there. The Queen stepped into the room, her presence filling every corner. Her armor had returned, but now it seemed darker, more alive. Lines of silver light pulsed along its surface like veins. Her eyes glowed brighter than the intruder's weapon, and her voice, when it came, was low and deadly. He released Daniel. Instantly, "You dare," she said. Not shouted, said. The quiet weight of those words made the air itself feel heavier. The intruder muttered something in his own language, stepping back. The queen's hand shot out, and she gripped the front of his armor, lifting him as easily as one might lift a child. Daniel had never seen such raw strength. Her other hand drew no weapon. She didn't need one. The intruder's body went rigid, the weapon falling to the floor with a clatter. "You will leave my ship," she commanded, "or you will not leave at all." The alien's red eyes flickered. Once, then went dark. She dropped him, and he crumpled to the floor, barely breathing. Two guards appeared in the doorway, hesitating only a second before dragging the intruder out. When the room was empty again, she turned to Daniel. Her armor receded slightly, the glow in her eyes softening. "Are you harmed?" Daniel shook his head, though his pulse was still racing. "You said no one would touch me. I guess you meant it." She stepped closer, her towering figure casting a protective shadow over him. "You are under my care. That will not change." Daniel swallowed hard, his voice low. "Why? Why risk this much for me?" "You don't even." "I do," she interrupted. Her tone was not angry, but certain. "I know more about you than you. Think, and soon you will know why I cannot let you go." Her words stayed with him long after she left the room, sealing the door once more. And for the first time, Daniel wondered if the real danger wasn't the war outside, but the bond forming inside this ship. The ship no longer trembled. Whatever threat had been chasing them was gone, at least for now. But Daniel knew the danger wasn't over. Not with what just happened. Hours passed before the door opened again. This time, the queen didn't come alone. Two of her personal guards followed her inside, their armor gleaming, their weapons holstered but ready. She gestured for them to wait at the door while she stepped toward him. "You can walk now?" Daniel nodded cautiously. "Enough to move around." "Why?" Her expression was unreadable. "Because you will see where we are going." He stood, the dull ache in his ribs a reminder of the battlefield. The queen led him out, her towering form impossible to ignore. The corridors of the ship were smooth and curved, walls flowing like one continuous surface. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the edges, pulsing in rhythm with the hum of the engines. They reached a large viewing chamber, its front wall a single vast window that looked out into space. Daniel stopped in his tracks. Outside, the stars stretched forever, but directly ahead was something unlike anything he had seen before, a colossal ring of light suspended in the void, its surface shifting like liquid metal. "That," the queen said, her voice quiet, "is the sanctuary gate. It leads to the only place in the galaxy where my enemies cannot follow." Daniel tore his gaze away from the spectacle. "And you're taking me there?" "Why?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she moved to stand beside him, her reflection in the glass towering over his. "In my culture," she began, "there's a law older than my throne. If a warrior saves another from certain death, they are bound, protector, and protected. The bond is unbreakable until one of them dies." Daniel stared at her. "So I'm bound to you?" Her eyes met his, and there was no hesitation. "Yes." He tried to process that, but she wasn't finished. "You think this is only about honor? It is not. There is something about you, Daniel Reeves, that my enemies fear. Something even you do not know about yourself." His chest tightened. "And you're going to tell me what that is?" Her gaze shifted back to the ring of light. "Not here. Not yet." Before he could push further, a flicker crossed the window, a shadow moving across the stars. Daniel leaned forward, trying to see. "What is that?" The queen's posture stiffened, uninvited company. The shadow resolved into shapes, ships. Not just one or two, but dozens, gliding toward the sanctuary gate. Daniel's stomach dropped. "They found us." Her eyes glowed brighter, and when she spoke, her voice carried the weight of command. "Stay close to me. If they want you, they will have to go through a queen." The ship surged forward, engines roaring as the gate grew larger ahead. But the enemy fleet was closing in fast. The sanctuary gate loomed ahead, its swirling light reflecting off the queen's armor. But the enemy fleet was moving faster, their formation tightening like a noose. Daniel gripped the railing as the ship jolted under incoming fire. Alien voices echoed through the comms, urgent and sharp. The queen stood tall in the center of the bridge, her presence steady even as the room shook. "Shields at maximum," she commanded. "All power to forward thrusters." Her crew obeyed instantly, but Daniel could see the tension in their movements. The enemy was too close, and their numbers were overwhelming. One of the guards leaned toward her, speaking quickly in their language. The queen's eyes narrowed. She turned to Daniel. "They want to jettison you in an escape pod. They believe the enemy will follow, leaving us free." Daniel's jaw tightened. "And you?" Her answer was immediate. "They will not take you, not alive." Before he could respond, the ship shook violently, throwing them both off balance. Daniel caught himself on the railing. She didn't even stumble. Outside the window, a massive enemy cruiser had moved directly between them and the gate. Its hull bristled with weapons, all aimed at the queen's vessel. The queen stepped forward, her voice a calm steel. "Open a channel." A holographic projection appeared. The enemy commander, armored in black and gold, his eyes cold. "Hand over the human," he demanded. "He is not yours." "He is mine," the queen replied, her voice low but unshakable. "And you will not touch him," the commander sneered. "Then you will both die." The queen glanced at Daniel, then back at the hologram. "You think you can take him from me?" She raised her hand and the lights on her armor flared to life, each line glowing like molten silver. "Come then, and learn why no one crosses the queen of the Caliph." Before the enemy could reply, she cut the channel. "All weapons fire." The ship's cannons roared, light lancing across the void. The enemy fired back, and for a moment, the space between them became a blinding storm of energy. The queen moved through the chaos with the certainty of someone who had done this 100 times before, issuing commands in rapid bursts. Then Daniel saw it. A gap in the enemy formation, just wide enough. "There!" he shouted, pointing. "If we angle through," her eyes met his, and she gave a single sharp nod. "Helm, follow his vector." The ship turned sharply, engines screaming as they shot toward the gap. Enemy fire grazed the shields, shaking the deck, but they didn't. Slow. The gate filled the window now, its swirling light pulling them in. The last enemy cruiser tried to cut them off, but the queen's ship slipped past, the glow of the gate enveloping them. In a flash, the battlefield was gone, replaced by the serene, endless sky of a hidden world. The crew exhaled in relief, but the queen did not relax. She turned to Daniel, her gaze unblinking. "You are safe here. But the galaxy will not stop hunting you." Daniel frowned. "Why? What is it they want from me?" Her voice dropped, and for the first time, he thought he saw something almost human in her eyes. "Because you carry something they fear. Something that can end them." He stared at her. "And you?" "I will protect you," she said simply, "until my last breath." And standing in the silent glow of the sanctuary, Daniel realized she meant it, not as a promise of duty, but as a truth carved into the core of who she was. Whatever the galaxy wanted from him, whatever war was still coming, she would be there. Not as his captor, not even just as his protector, but as the one who had chosen him and would never let him go.